0-6. BDS went 0-6 at the Spring Major. And today we're gonna see just why that happened. We are going to be hopping on board with Monkey Moon here as we take a stroll through Game 3 of the series played between Team BDS and Kansas City Pioneers. We're going to go ahead and roll this on through and take a look at things through the eyes of Monkey Moon to see just what went wrong. Of course, at this time in the series, Kansas City Pioneers have a 2-0 lead, so let's see how things go along. And just like that, KCP on the board. I don't care what exactly is going on in the series, but if you're down 2-0, you absolutely cannot allow the opening kickoff of your elimination game to be a kickoff goal for the other team. I don't know why teams insist on playing this extremely risky cheat up. Like, I know it can result in some pretty good things if the kickoff goes perfectly, but the chances of the kickoff going perfectly aren't that great. It doesn't tend to happen too often. So the fact that teams continue to go for this and continue to be punished for it and don't choose to fix it is still baffling to me. Because if we were to look at where Seiko is when this challenge happens, like, he has no time to react to this. Wherever this ball goes, he's just in this path right here. If this ball doesn't go right into his path, he ain't getting a touch. Meanwhile, Scrum has stayed more central to this play, so he does have a bit more wiggle room to react to where this ball goes. So we can just plow on through here and get a touch in whichever direction it goes. And of course, as we see, results immediately in KCP scoring. So fantastic start for BDS. I'm sure that is precisely what they were hoping for, I'm sure. Couldn't have asked for anything better as a start. 2 seconds in and you're already down 1-0. Elimination looking more and more likely as we go along. Do they clean up the kickoff? A little bit. Monkey Moon moving a little bit slower. Not too shabby there. See how we get along. Got the clear out. Very good. Interesting choice from Monkey here not to drive up this wall. I'm wondering if he's thinking that maybe if he like fakes like he's going to go on the wall, it'll force Banana Head to go infield. But instead, Monkey Moon doesn't ever actually go up all the way on the wall. So Banana Head probably sees this and goes, cool. Free wall, air dribble the ball right downfield. So in this situation, you'd like to see Monkey Moon kind of move up this wall just to force Banana Head into a less favorable position where he can't necessarily maintain control of the ball as well. By just kind of staying on the ground, he's giving Banana Head a free path up the wall into an air dribble, which is going to result in something quite dangerous. And BDS is honestly going to be lucky that they don't end up down 2-0 incredibly quickly. Go ahead and get the clear out. A little bit of a double commit, but panicky on defense, as we'll see as we roll things forward here. Kind of chugging along. Another thing that I feel like we'll see quite a bit from Monkey Moon, which is a bit odd, is this, like, pulsing of boost. And I don't really know why. Like, there was one pulse there that didn't make a whole lot of sense. And there are 2 pulses there, actually, that didn't make a whole lot of sense. He's just using boost for not a whole lot of purpose. I don't really know what the point is. Maybe there is a point that I just don't know about. But it seems a lot more like I'm just feathering boost because I can. Not so much that there's any actual impact on the play. So we'll keep an eye on that. I think we'll see quite a lot of random boost usage that doesn't really need to happen because it doesn't accomplish a whole lot. Good early challenge there as he gets the clear out. So we get along here. BDS gonna be careful on the back end there to go ahead and get him clear out. It's very good. Awkward positioning from Extra and Seiko here. This is something we're gonna see pretty consistently as well, which is BDS not being spread out around the field. A lot of times they end up really clumped up together going for the same ball, or at least facing like they are going to go for the same ball, which is going to lead to some problems as they can't cover as much of the field as they'd probably like. And in this play, we'll see Seiko and Extra just literally sitting right next to each other in the same spots, not really spread out, not allowing each other space around the field to really do a whole lot. And we'll see that Extra now backs down away from the challenge that he was probably going to go for on the back wall to allow Seiko in. And again, they're kind of just powwowing around here. Look again, both Seiko and Extra facing the same play, it's a little weird because it, again, doesn't give a whole lot of freedom. In this scenario, I feel like it would be better just to let Extra go for this ball and have Seiko be prepared to defend whatever 50-50 comes from it, rather than basically sending Seiko into a position where one of the BDS players already is, because now you're just dedicating more resources than you need to into a play that's not really going to yield a whole lot of fantastic results. Because it still does a 50-50, but now you've left Monkey Moon totally alone at the back instead of having someone else around to defend as well. Monkey Moon does at least do enough to go ahead and get this touch out, so that is A-okay. And he's going to give it right back up, because this is the fake flip reset from Super Lucky, and immediately KCP scores on this play. So, what goes wrong here? Well, as soon as Seiko kind of takes himself out of the play with that recovery, he's pretty slow. So at this moment, Monkey Moon needs to realize, okay, I need to almost treat this like a twos game at this point. If I commit for this ball, and I don't make contact, don't get a dunk, don't do whatever, it's just going to result in a very one-sided push for KCP. Many more players dedicated to the attack than BDS will have dedicated to the defense. Because if Monkey Moon dives for this, both Seiko and Monkey Moon are out of the play, and Extra is left on an island, basically facing a 1v3. So what I would prefer to see here is either Monkey Moon A just go for a demo on Super Lucky, let Super Lucky take the touch but just demo him off the field. That would be a good idea. Or just do a drive challenge. Don't actually jump in this, don't actually challenge it. Just make Super Lucky think you're going to, and then turn back to net, because then you're at least in a position to be able to defend the net from whatever attack is coming, and you'll be able to help Extra in some way, probably just being able to jump up and defend Super Lucky from behind, rather than having Extra do it from in front. But instead he does dive on through, and Extra's left totally alone. Not a whole lot you can really expect Extra to do in that scenario, as he's kind of left in no man's land without any help to be seen. 2-0, 3.5 minutes left, still plenty of time for BDS to work with, and that time is slowly dissipating. Again, this is what happens when things just aren't going well, because in a perfect world, Monkey Moon is positioned here because he knows Seiko is going to get some kind of challenge, whether that be an actual dunk on the ball, whether that be a bump on Banana Head. Seiko is going to impact this play in some way, which is why Monkey Moon feels so comfortable in pushing up this far. However, they don't seem to be accounting for the fact that things aren't going well. And when things aren't going as you really plan them to, you need to almost always plan for worst case scenario. Throughout this event, BDS has proven time and time again that they're not getting the touches they want to, they're not defending how they want to, they're not getting the challenges that they want to. So you need to start positioning for what you don't want happening to happen. Because if Monkey Moon was just a little further back here, not fully expecting Seiko to get this challenge perfectly, then he would be in a position to jump up and defend this flip reset from Banana Head. But because he's pushed so far up, as soon as Seiko doesn't get the touch, Monkey Moon's toast. And Extra still hasn't recovered back behind him, so this is now just a totally open net for Banana Head to stroll right on through to. So 3.5 minutes left, now down 3. We roll on here. Off we go. Chase from Seiko. Good chip on net attempt. Smart patience here from Monkey Moon, just knowing that there's no point in him diving into the corner here. He's not really going to get anything out of it. Seiko is pressuring Super Lucky into doing something, because Super Lucky can't just dribble this ball because Seiko's sitting right there. So Seiko does force Super Lucky up the wall, and in this occasion, Monkey Moon does go up the wall to go ahead and get this challenge. And you'll see that immediately shuts down this clear. BDS back in control. Exactly what you'd like to see. Good play here as well. And once again, this one's a little bit more questionable. You might think that it might be best just for Monkey Moon to dive at this, but realistically, if he dives, he might have a chance to pinch this like up into the ceiling based on this bounce. But if he dives and doesn't get an optimal touch, now he's out of the play. His teammates might be expecting him to do something, and now Super Lucky has a free ball. So instead of allowing that possibility to happen, he does position it in such a way that makes sure that they still basically control what's happening with the play. Because now he forces Sunlesskhan to go make a touch on this ball, because Sunlesskhan can't just leave it in the middle of the field. So Sunlesskhan does have a bit of an awkward takeoff here, and again, Monkey Moon comes in with this sidewall challenge to get the 50-50, which allows BDS to maintain control once again. So we're seeing BDS's offense start to ramp up here. They're starting to go for those blocking touches, not allowing the opponent to break out of their own half. The only thing we haven't seen yet is like the patented BDS passing out of defense, keeping the ball close to themselves, close to their teammates, things like that. As we've talked about BDS on the channel before, they have a tendency to either A, keep the ball close to themselves, B, keep the ball close to their teammates, or C, if the other team is in control of the ball, BDS is just going to play a 50-50 game to make sure that the opponent can't break out of whatever stranglehold BDS has on them. So we are starting to see that challenge game come through for BDS. Now they just need to add the passing element, and things might be able to work out a bit better. Again, we'll see Monkey Moon going for a challenge there, unfortunately. Unable to get it, which does allow KCP to break out. See how things go along here. Rough touch from Seiko, but it is going to work out to get the ball over to extra. And again, this is good for BDS. They're not hitting the ball so hard that it's getting away from them. They're keeping it in such an area that it allows other BDS members to follow up on the play, and doesn't give KCP an opportunity to come on in. Good attempt off the sidewall there from Monkey Moon as well, to try to get that pass in the field. Didn't quite work out, but good attempt. Good block there as well. And this could just be KCP starting to slow down a bit, but it does seem like BDS is starting to get more composed. Maybe they're just starting to relax more because they know that it's pretty much over at this point, unless like a miracle happens. 3-goal comeback in this scenario, probably unlikely. So maybe they're just finally starting to play more relaxed and less tense, and that's what's helping them. And if that's the case, they just need to find a way to like unlock this playstyle from the very beginning on LAN, because it seems like they just were all out of sorts from the kickoff of both series that they played. Again, really nice composure here from Monkey. He knows he's in a situation, immediate recognition that there's nobody challenging this ball, so he can take his time with it. Allows himself to catch it. Seiko probably baits this jump out of Scrub because Scrub doesn't want to deal with the threat of the demo, so Scrub just jumps. And now that Monkey Moon has seen Scrub jump, all he has to do is just stay behind this ball and go for the low 50, fake challenge, whatever you want to do there, and put the ball right on through and gets BDS's first goal. Onwards we go. Continuing on. See what we got going here. Another miss from Extra. This is another thing that we saw pretty consistently. This all kind of falls into the idea of BDS just being off. Missed touches, missing the ball entirely, not utilizing their teammates the way they normally do. All these things kind of compiled together to make BDS's weekend one that they would very quickly like to forget. But hey, they still got a chance, maybe. You never know what could happen. See how things go. That needs to be a shot that gets hit. Like, if BDS were on form, this is a goal 100% of the time. Monkey Moon's going to place this perfectly. Super Locky's in and out save isn't going to make any difference. Monkey Moon's going to place it under him or wherever it needs to go. And this is going to be a 1-goal game. However, because BDS just ain't feeling it, that's a miss. And even worse, you got Extra double committing as well. So now you took 2 players out of the play for a ball that's going to hit off the post. And now KCP has control of the ball again. Luckily, they do fumble it a bit, so BDS come back in with their, again, blocking playstyle, making sure they maintain control of the ball. Seiko does kind of give it away, though, to the backboard, even though there was presence up there from KCP. Now KCP under control, and BDS kind of just handed that ball away. It was a little wasteful from Seiko, looking back on it, because he had space. Like, yeah, Super Lucky's here, but Seiko also didn't just need to hit this ball as hard as possible. Because he just bangs this to the backboard, and Banana Head goes, cool. Awesome. Thank you for the donation to the KCP Time Wasting Fund. We will take this donation and run with it, and make sure we waste as much time as possible in doing so. And you'll notice Banana Head just takes it nice and slow, plays for the 50. No need to panic, just do our own thing. We're chilling. Good challenge there from Super Lucky to get it around Monkey Moon as well. This is another situation. Monkey Moon needs to recognize how much boost he has. Like, the chance that he actually gets out to this, Super Lucky's already up. Monkey Moon only has 28. Like, the chance Monkey Moon can make a worthwhile touch on this ball, very unlikely. Again, I feel like he's just taking himself out of the play when he doesn't need to. You still have a minute 52. You don't need to panic. You don't need to panic jump and everything. You don't need to immediately score right now. You still have time. Calm down. Play smart. Play fast and play smart. But by jumping off the wall, you're wasting your positioning. You're wasting your boost. And you're not really doing anything for those resources that you're giving up. You're not gaining anything for what you're doing. Again, wastes pretty much all of his boost. Ball goes past him. Now he's gonna rotate around, and there's just no boost anywhere. Superlocking gets the steal in the corner. But here is like perfect idea what BDS does. This is what BDS does. You'll see Seiko leaking out on the right side. Extra sees him. They pass out of defense and immediately beat 2 players. You have a 3v1 opportunity here. There is no reason that with both the 2 other KCP players floating in your own box and only 1 KCP player back on defense, you should be scoring here. There is no reason that BDS should not be able to put a ball on target here, and Seiko puts it wide. Now, I will say, I feel like Monkey Moon could have done a better job of collecting boost down the field. And I feel like he also wasted his positioning a little bit here by cutting this far to the right. Because realistically, if we look at the positioning of BDS down the field, Extra is landing on the right side of the field. So if Superlocking gets a touch and it goes back to the right side, Extra's got you covered. Monkey Moon should be defending the left side, the far post, so if Seiko does get the touch past Superlocking but it's not in the net, then someone's there to finish up. But Monkey Moon almost commits to what he thinks is going to happen before anything would even really give away what's going to happen. Because he can think that, yeah, Superlocking is probably going to get this touch, but cutting this far to the right doesn't gain you anything. It just, again, limits the amount of space that BDS is able to cover across the field. Because now you basically have all 3 players pointing their nose in the same direction. If you drew like a triangle off of all players' field of views, they would all cover this exact same corner. And that's not good. You want to have players as spread out as possible to cover as much of the field and as many options as could come up, so that whatever happens, you're prepared for it, rather than all kind of banking on the same thing happening. And what we'll see is Seiko does get this touch across, and if Monkey Moon had stayed back post and just jumped over Scrub instead of cutting this far into the right, he'd probably be there to finish this. But instead, ball bounces away. Luckily, BDS do maintain control. Monkey Moon trying to keep it close, like the idea, then goes for the bump. Unfortunately, shot again is high from Extra, and Extra again just kind of gives away possession. Luckily, Seiko does have this nice rotation back, and this is where we're going to start to see a little bit more of Prime BDS. Now they're trying to keep that ball a little closer to themselves, closer to their teammates, and it really opens up their opportunities on offense instead of just hitting the ball away as hard as humanly possible. Great back pass there from Seiko. Lovely touch from Monkey Moon to get it around the first man. Just can't get to the double fast enough to go ahead and put it in. But this is much better from BDS. Until you have another missed shot. And this is just going to be the bane of BDS's existence for a while, until they shake that issue of just not being able to put the ball on target. Because that's 2 from Seiko in the last 30 seconds that haven't been on target, that he's definitely going to want back. BDS are maintaining pressure though, so that is quite good. Spreading themselves out a little bit more. You like to see it. Good lead by Monkey Moon, just letting Extra take this. And now we see once again another one of those situations where relying on perfect touches is going to get you in trouble. Because when the touch isn't perfect and you're expecting the perfect touch, you do things like this. Monkey Moon has 94 boost. In this situation, he is definitely saying, Extra, bang it to the right. We'll go downfield, counterattack. It'll be beautiful. Exactly what we want to see. However, when you're not getting these perfect touches, it is almost better to just wait to see what happens before committing in your head for what you're going to go for. I know you have to be incredibly fast to be able to play these games, and with 53 seconds left, I can't blame them for expecting things to be perfect. But when things aren't perfect, this is kind of what you end up with, because Extra bangs this ball way too high, and Monkey Moon, expecting a pass he can play with, basically already has in his mind that as soon as Extra touches this ball, I'm jumping, and he'll adjust his flight path wherever the ball is going. However, when Extra bangs the ball that hard, there is no shot that Monkey Moon's playing that. Monkey Moon jumps and then realizes, oh, yeah, no, not happening. Let me get back down to the ground. But in doing so, he goes from 94 boost down to like 50, and then in tracking the ball down to get this challenge down to 19. So he wastes 70 some boost just to get a 50-50. No offensive pressure, nothing really coming out of this because both Super Lucky and Banana Head are ready to defend this, instead of having a really dangerous aerial play coming at them. Super Lucky and Banana Head go, cool, 50-50, we'll take that, thank you. And Banana Head's first on the ball, and now BDS have to kind of go back with their tail between their legs, and now they're just pushing as hard as humanly possible to try to get anything going. Challenge there from Seiko, Monkey Moon avoiding the demo. This all is pretty much a formality at this point. Good challenge on the wall by Monkey Moon, good flick out as well, putting the ball in a position where Seiko can follow up. And those are the things that BDS just simply needed to do more of throughout both series that they played, and they just didn't do it. They didn't have enough team plays, they didn't have enough perfect touches, they had too many missed shots, too many missed opportunities, and it came back to bite them. And one of the favorites of the entire tournament, wow, words are freaking hard. One of the favorites of the entire tournament goes out 0-6. Doesn't win a single game. And of course, we're just going to see some fun dribbling from Monkey Moon. This just kind of exemplifies to me the disappointment because he just doesn't want to let the ball drop, doesn't want to leave the lobby. He's just disappointed in their performance, which is totally understandable. You don't win 2 European regionals, come second in the third to come out to the major and not win a single game. So at the end of the day, if we're going to look at BDS's performance as a whole, it really comes down to a lack of a couple things. Number one, they lacked their team play. One of the trademarks of BDS is that they always put the ball in spots where their team can follow up. They always want one of their players to be the next person to the ball. That was almost non-existent. And credit to the teams they played for recognizing that that's something that BDS wants to do, and just shutting down all those passing lanes by just getting in BDS's face. If you take away the space of BDS, they can't generate those passing plays, which makes it a lot harder for them to break out on offense, and a lot harder for them to set up creative plays on offense, because they have to rely a lot more on solo excellence to take out players, and that's just not what this iteration of BDS is known for. These players absolutely can play that way. We've seen Monkey Moon destroy people mechanically. We've seen Seiko, when he was on endpoint, just 1v3 teams. But on this iteration of BDS, that has never been the playstyle that they go for, and it might be something that they need to start working in, because just playing the 50-50 game and playing this team passing play game is not working anymore. And then you combine that their playstyle wasn't working with the fact that they just weren't on with their touches in general. So even when they had opportunities to go for passing plays, or they had an opportunity to put a shot on net, they let so many opportunities like that slip through their fingers, and it just goes to show that it doesn't matter who you are or how good you are at this game, everyone will have off days. It's just a matter of how well you bounce back from them, and unfortunately for Team BDS, their bounce back performance was even worse than their starting one. That'll wrap it up for this analysis. If there's anything you guys saw that I perhaps missed, or anything that I said that you perhaps don't agree with, go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all this and exactly what went wrong for BDS this weekend, because everyone is shocked by this result.